evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was terrible. But let's get down to brass tacks here. I'm going to talk about something that's vital to the upcoming Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming movie. It's could be a spoiler, technically, but because there's a lot of people out there, I understand, who don't want something spoiled or anything spoiled for that matter. We live in a time where it's actually better for the experience of a movie if you don't watch trailers or look up things online. However, Spider-Man is my life to the point where I do try to dissect everything. As much as I love you guys and I love when you watch my videos, if you don't want this spoiled, go. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Zendaya, she was cast in Spider-Man Homecoming as Michelle, and for the longest time, when it was first announced as that, I thought in the back of my head, this is baloney. According to The Wrap and El Miambe, Humberto Gonzalez, Zendaya is playing Mary Jane, the iconic character in the Spider-Man lore. Top 3 girlfriends in Spider-Man's life. You know, he kind of marries her at some point in the comics. She's a big deal. And in the comics, let's get into that really quick. She's white. She has red hair. She's supposed to be bodaciously sexy to the point where she is like a model. But she's always like Peter, and at the right moment, she introduces herself to Peter as the girl he's been looking for. Zendaya is basically playing her in this movie, it seems, as a really dry, awkward, timid, laid-back character who doesn't wear makeup, kind of has no fashion sense. Which means if she is playing Mary Jane, they're taking a couple dials to the left or the right, depending on how you look at things, and they're making her a different character of sorts at first. This is causing a stir of controversy on the internet. Are you surprised? Are you really, though? Looking at the facts here, Zendaya is black. Whoa. And that's what's causing this problem? I don't see what the big problem with this is. As long as, in the end of the day, if Zendaya plays to the spirit and the personality and the essence of Mary Jane, who cares how she looks? And second off, have you seen Zendaya? Have you seen her? Look at her Instagram. Look at her professional pictures from Cosmo. She is effing attractive. If you're out there saying Zendaya isn't attractive enough to be MJ, are you kidding? And if you're out there criticizing her ethnicity, that she shouldn't be MJ, also, are you kidding me? We live in a world now where, changes aren't necessary, but they are made to spice things up in the world of movies, comics, television, etc. So to see that Zendaya is playing Mary Jane Watson, a character who is very revered in Spider-Man mythology, it's cool. It's an idea to me that I can get behind, even though we haven't seen footage from her, or at least people who haven't been to Comic-Con San Diego haven't seen footage of her at all. But it's an idea on the surface I can get behind. If we see footage, trailers, the movie, and she doesn't deliver as to whatever the vision was from Marvel Studios, Sony, and, John Watts, okay, then you have the right to criticize. But right now, I don't... it's the vicious circle of fanboyisms. We all have the ability and the right to speculate. Freedom of speech, it's an amendment. I understand. If you have a criticism or you have, a disliking to something, and it's these movies, they always cause up conversation. You have a right to, disagree. You have a right to, think something else that's not positive about these things. But don't go out of your way to criticize the filmmakers or the people involved in the behind the scenes when you haven't seen any footage or any trailers or anything for the project yet. Peter lives in Forest Hills, Queens, and he goes to a high school in Queens. He goes to high school in New York, and as a fellow member of the alumni of St. John's in Queens and Staten Island, I could tell you how diverse high school and college is here in New York. So the idea of these iconic characters being played by ethnically diverse people is just a given. I have a really quick theory that a couple fans are throwing around online that I want to address and I actually kind of agree with. So, Mary Jane Watson in this movie, she seems, like I said before, timid, laid back, unfashionable in the complete sense. But there's a thing going on here where, Kevin Feige described this movie as a John Hughes movie. And if you've seen John Hughes movies, or movies that are, very inspired by John Hughes films, there's a thing that goes on where you see a character at surface value when you first get the first impression and you maybe don't like them, but then over time you learn about these characters and you see more developed through these characters and you end up seeing them in a different light or a different eye. So like that Freddie Prinze Jr. movie with that girl where he's the popular guy and he has to date the really, really unpopular girl and she turns out to be actually pretty attractive. Or Breakfast Club, where the girl from War Games, who is like the loner, loser, gothic girl in the group, turns out to be incredibly attractive after Molly Ringwald's character gives her a makeover, and Emilio Estevez is all like, he's like, whoa. In this movie, Peter Parker is going after a different character in this movie, one of the other seemingly more attractive actresses. Mary Jane is on the laid-back side. She's not quite the popular model character she was in the comics, but hold on. Then at the homecoming dance, we have that John Hughes moment where she lets down her hair, figuratively and literally. Mary Jane can make this statement where in high school looks are such a big deal to people, where like people thought, oh, well, who cares about that Mary Jane girl? She's not really that attractive. She becomes incredibly attractive because she puts on some makeup, lets her hair down, and wears an incredibly gorgeous dress at the homecoming dance, and Peter realizes, oh shit, she liked me this whole time, and she actually is attractive. Maybe the girl that was in front of me this whole time is actually the girl I should be going after. And face the tiger, you just hit the jackpot. Whether that's actually the arc that Mary Jane will have, you know, realizing things about herself that maybe to get Peter Parker's attention, she has to become that attractive thing she doesn't want to be at the end of the movie. Whether that actually happens remains to be seen, but I think it's a very plausible idea based on the John Hughes statements by Kevin Feige and other things if you've done your research online. But yeah, I want to know from you guys, what do you think of this Zendaya being Mary Jane casting news? Do you agree, disagree? Do you see where I'm coming from, or do you have another point of view, another angle that actually might shed more light than I have already? Let me know anything you want, and let's discuss friendly and politely in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Facebook and Twitters in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, Spidey for life. See that teddy bear? That's Spiderman. Spidey bear. And I'll see you guys next time.